Hi, I'm Kate,
And I'm Jacob.
and today we'll be walking you through Form 3, the Risk Assessment Form. This form will be completed by the student researchers in collaboration with the designated supervisor and/or qualified scientist. The student will start by putting in their name and the title of their project. Here we have Carl Science working on thermoregulating roofing. Next, we'll move on to the questions. If you need to, you can write these on extra pages and attach them to this form before turning it in. So, question 1 will have us list all hazardous chemicals and devices that will be used and identify microorganisms exempt from pre-approval as listed in the potentially hazardous biological agent rules found in the ISEF rules and guidelines. Here, Carl Science will be using drills, hammers, saws, ladders, and nails, which are all hazardous devices. In question 2, we will identify and assess the risks and hazards involved in this project. So, the risks of Carl Science's project include falling from the ladder, power tool injuries, and inhaling and getting sawdust in your eyes.
And so rules on what a hazardous chemical, activity, or device is and risk assessment can be found on pages 20 through 21 of the ISEF rules and guidelines. If you have biological agents in your project, rules governing what those are and how to deal with biological agents can be found on pages 15 through 18 of the ISEF rules and guidelines.
Okay, so moving on to question 3, here we're asked to describe the safety precautions and procedures that will be used to reduce these risks. So Carl Science will be wearing proper PPE such as protective glasses and gloves, and the ladder will be held at all times while being occupied by himself to keep him from falling. In question 4, we'll describe the disposal procedures that will be used when applicable. Excess materials here will be disposed of according to OSHA regulations, but these disposal procedures are dependent on what your hazardous material is.
And disposal, it should also be according to federal and state guidelines or non-US national regulations and laws if applicable.
Question 5 asks us to list the sources of this safety information. Carl Science has used the OSHA website to make sure that he is following all of our governmental policies. In this last section, the designated supervisor or qualified scientist, if the qualified scientist is acting as the designated supervisor, will agree to the risk assessment and safety precautions and procedures described above and certify that they have reviewed the research plan and project summary, as well as all the rules, science fair ethics statement, and all that fun jazz that can be found in the ISEF rules and guidelines. So our supervisor's name, Tammy Supervisor. She has put in her position as material science professor at Oklahoma State University and her email contact information, as well as her experience and training. So she should be trained in the student's area of research. Next, she will sign and put in a date of that signature, which should occur before SRC approval and before research can begin. Okay, that's Form 3.